Welcome back, guys. Thank you for listening in to another episode of the ADH Dads. We got a very special recording for you today. I'm very excited to have Sir Jason Palmer with us. He is the host of a podcast called Foster Care Nation. Him and his wife run that, and I'm very excited to kind of dive in with him and get his story and see what foster dadding looks like, because I am always interested to talk to other men who are not bio dads like myself. I know I've mentioned this a couple times, but I'm a stepdad to 3 kiddos. So Jason has, 1,300 kids. So I'm really excited to hear about what life looks like for him, man. So welcome, Jason. How you doing today?
It's 1,301 today.
All right.
I just had a similar conversation with a guy at church this morning about that something you just mentioned right there that I'm pretty passionate about. Way back in the day when my wife and I first got together, she already had a little boy when I met her. He was 2, and his dad had bounced and just decided not to be a dad anymore. And I had showed up, and he knew me. He just called me dad. The guy I worked for, John Reeser, was a real good guy. And John asked me one day, he said, "Well, what do you call him? Do you call him your stepson or just your son?" Like, look, this kid has made it into the group of people that I will kill to protect. He's just my kid. He's my son. And it's son. It's too simple. And he goes, that's the way it should be. And that's kind of the first time I ever even thought about the question. And today, with all the different kids we have in our house, okay, so my oldest daughter was, legally speaking, biologically speaking, she was my wife's half sister. Okay, she was a year and a half older than our oldest son. They shared a mom, and she dealt with, still, this has been 20-something years later, still dealing with addiction. And this little girl grew up in my house. She went to school from my address. She ate my food. We put clothes on her back. When she cried because she was hurt or sad, it was on my knee. That was my little girl, right? So that was my oldest of kids. And then my wife had a son of hers I was a stepdad. And then my wife and I had a bio son together. And so there was a bio kid. And since then, we've adopted several kids. We've adopted 4 kids through the foster system. We have 2 more that look like they're inbound here pretty soon. We're getting to the place where they'll probably be adopted kids soon. And we've had close to 30 kids come through our house through the foster system. And I'm going to tell you, the truth is this is my kid. I don't care about all the other labels. Bio, step, half. My dad and my stepmom raised her grandson because her daughter was really sick, and that made Timmy he was like my double half step nephew-in-law. I don't know. It was just Timmy, right? Like, I can't see putting that much work in identifying what sort of weird biological relationship you have with somebody. These are just my kids.
Yeah. That's interesting because I faced a lot of boundaries in my stepdadding journey of what is the proper term that I can use, as a bonus dad. When I talk about the kids, the bio dad is still in the picture for our kids here. He's active and takes them for every other weekend. And, so there was a lot of boundaries that I had to navigate of not wanting to step on his toes and using the word dad and, in certain scenarios. But I feel the same way. I had to kind of go into this relationship in the mindset of, I have to love these kids like I would love my own, and again, going back to what I was saying and talking to you, and why I'm interested in talking to you and how you share your love with all these kids that aren't yours, is just a fascinating story and perspective to me. Because again, going into this relationship with 3 kids, I definitely had a lot of pushback from a lot of family and friends, as far as, there's plenty of women out there without kids, and that's a big responsibility. Why would you want to do that? What's wrong with you to want to step in and take on that responsibility? And what was the other one that I heard of? She's not looking to have you raise her kids, is she? When we first started dating. And that was, to be honest, I've thought about that, and I don't know how you could date someone that has kids without a little bit of this is a huge responsibility, and I really have to think of the weight of that, right? Because I think that, again, if you're gonna date someone with kids, you kind of have to have a mindset of, I'm putting everything I have into this. I can't half-ass this. I'm gonna definitely have to have some participation in the growth of these kids, right?